This video covers the general operation and maintenance for your new equipment. Every operator should watch this video before using the machine. Provided with your machine was an operator's manual. If you have not read this document, please pause this video and do so before continuing. This video provides information that is general and not tailored for your specific cleaning application. It does not take into consideration the health and safety risks specific to your application. Due to the many and various cleaning applications, the manufacturer, importer, distributor, or seller of this equipment is not responsible for its performance. So, let's get into it.
Hello, I'm Dave from Alpha Clean, and my goal today is to make your job as easy as possible. What I'd like to do is go through this ride-on scrubber, how to operate and maintain this machine. This is the ARA80BM100. This is an 80 scrubbing width, BN being battery motor driven, and 100. So we have 100 litre tanks on this machine. We've got a 100 litre solution tank, and then we've got our 100 litre waste water tank on the back of the machine. So this machine being battery operated, we've got full access to the batteries in underneath the seat as we lift the seat. We run 4 6-volt gel batteries in this machine. They're a sealed, maintenance-free battery, so there's no need to top them up with acid. Then we have our charger underneath the seat. So we've got full access to the charger here. We can unwind our lead, and this will plug straight into a 10 amp power socket. So on the charger, there will be a series of some lights. Obviously, orange meaning charging. If a red light comes on, it's a hazard light, which has got a hazard symbol beside it. That will mean that it will not be charging. It may mean that your batteries are too low. It may mean that there's a fault in the charger. So please unplug it, replug it into your power point, and then hopefully it'll start the charging cycle. If not, you will have to contact Alpha Clean. But then it'll go through the cycle and it'll come up to a green light. This machine runtime, you will get around that 4 to 5 hour runtime on the machine, and we talk on like about an 8-hour charge cycle. Generally, we just charge it overnight, and it's what we call a trickle feed charge, so the charge will turn itself off once the batteries are up to power. So to fill the machine up with clean water, we do it in through this front compartment here. You'll notice we've got a screw lid to remove. Now, if for some reason this lid is a little bit tight, the machine does come with a little handle which can help remove the cap. We don't ever want to do this up too tight because it's at the top of the tank, it shouldn't leak. Probably more critical on the one at the back, which I'll show you shortly. But that's where we put our clean water and where we can put any chemical that may be required for your machine. And on chemical, feel free to contact Alpha Clean regarding your application and what chemical may be required. Please note on these machines, we always recommend a low foaming chemical. Then as you fill your machine up with water, you'll notice this here's our sight glass. The ball float will show us how much water we have in the machine. Then if you want to empty out the clean water, we simply remove this cap and empty it out. So for the clean water, we have the filter here just mounted underneath the front left-hand corner of the machine. This can be unscrewed, and there's just a gauze filter in there. This will need to be cleaned every so often if there's no water coming out of the machine. This will be done on service intervals. However, this may have to be checked, in between services if blocked. This could be due to too much chemical, or it could be due to something falling inside the tank or bad water. Okay, our waste tank being at the back of the machine here. To empty our waste water, we've got our waste hose, which can be easily pulled off the back section here. We can kink it to stop any water flowing out, take off the plug, and then release our water. We also have a red cap here on the bottom of the tank. This once again can be easily removed and give you full access to the bottom of the tank. To maintain and keep the tank serviced, we've got the seal here which we want to keep clean at all times because it is a suction system. If this is damaged, torn, or not kept clean, this will affect the suction on your machine and will not allow the machine to give you a dry floor. Inside the tank we have a filter. So this filter's on our suction line. This also needs to be kept clean and must never get wet. If it does, you must dry it and make sure it's fully dry before we put it back into the machine. So this machine comes with a ball float. So as the water comes up, it'll pick up the ball and then block off the suction. So as we discussed earlier, what we want to make sure is that we don't get too much foam in our tank, because what can happen is the foam is not heavy enough to pick up the ball. So the water level may be below the ball, however the foam will come up, won't pick the ball up, and therefore we'll get into our suction motor. So please note, if we get moisture in our suction motor, this will not be covered under warranty. But this here must be kept clean at all times. If we get a build-up of fluff and material, lint, hair, this will restrict the ball from coming up, and it will obviously stop it from cutting off your suction. So you notice we've got two clips on the back of the machine. This here is so that if you ever want to carry a mop with you, or a squeegee, or even a broom for that matter, it can be mounted on the back of the machine. So a major service item for these scrubbers is the squeegee system at the back of the machine, because once again this is what gives a dry floor. So the squeegee assembly can be easily removed by undoing these two tab locks, and the whole squeegee bar will come straight off. Please note it's quite a heavy squeegee bar. It's very solid, therefore it will not twist and will always maintain a dry floor. So what we've got is we've got our two squeegee rubbers here. They come as an assembly, as a kit. Please note there are different grades of rubber, so depending on your application. The automotive, for an example, we would recommend an oil resistant squeegee. They will last longer in those oil and grease applications. Whereas this is our standard rubber, which will give you a drier floor, but in some applications won't last as long. So we will wear this inner edge here. As you'll see, a series of wing nuts can be removed. We can end for end it and use the other edge, and then we can flip it upside down. So what we want to make sure is that this is clean at all times. So we will get a build up of fluff and that in the squeegee assembly here. That needs to be kept clean. Then if we open up this back tank, we can easily remove this hose, this lower hose, because this lower hose can also get a build-up of rubbish inside, especially this elbow here, and that can be removed and kept clean. This can easily be put back in position, and then these need to be tightened, ready for use. So the squeegee needs to sit flat on the ground all the way along the whole length of the squeegee. If it is sitting up in the middle, we need to then adjust this to make it sit flat. So this will just adjust the angle. This machine then has a built-in handbrake. So it makes it easy for transport, and it also makes it easy. So if you do jump off this machine, if you're going down an incline and jump off the machine, the minute you stop, this machine's handbrake will engage and you will not be able to push it. So you'll notice on the machine we've got some what we call bump rollers. That's on the widest points of the machine. Therefore, so as you start scrubbing up against a wall, if these come in touch with the wall, they won't mark the wall. Also, we've got our little side squeegees. So these can be easily lowered and raised. More used when you're cleaning a really finished floor like a terrazzo, and it'll reduce the amount of water that sprays out too far, because if we get water spraying out too far, the squeegee won't always collect it. So this here can be easily raised or lowered. And over time these will wear. This can be easily removed, and we can flip it upside down to get more life out of that squeegee rubber. Now with your brushes, these can be easily removed just by grabbing each side of the brush and turning it anti-clockwise. This can be easily pulled out. So what you'll notice is we've got a spigot here, so the motor has got a coupling in that shape. We need to marry that up and then twist it in position. So what I always recommend is grab the brush each side. Make sure you don't grab it just from the front, because if it's not sitting dead flat, you will struggle to get it on. As you'll know, we have a range of brushes, grades of brushes, plus we also have our pad holder. And this can be, we can put a full range of different pads on. So the pad holder comes with a center clip. Now we do have two different types of clips. We've got a clip with a wire ring, which needs to be just clamped into and then removed. We also have a clip which has got a twist coupling on it, so you just need to turn it. The pad can then be removed. These can be cleaned. Over time you will have to reverse them and then refit it by just pushing this on and letting it clip into position. Please note, when getting on the machine, we must not use this as a footrest. So we simply just climb on straight onto the machine. Now, one safety feature on this machine is we don't want to have our foot resting on the accelerator when we turn the key on. This will bring up a hazard and the machine won't run as a safety feature, so that if you turn the key on, it doesn't just take off and hit someone or drive without you being ready for it. So just make sure that your foot is off the accelerator when turning the key on. So you'll notice there's a little lever on the seat here, so the seat can be adjusted forward and back. Got our steering wheel, we've got a lever here which will allow you to adjust the amount of water that goes onto the floor. Now this is just a manual operation, so no electronic switch there, so it's just a matter of, as you turn the water control, as you turn it around to the right, it'll increase the water flow onto the floor. We then have got our foot pedal for lowering and raising the brush. So as we bring the pedal up, the brush deck will lower, and as we push it down, this will pick the brush deck up. So it's what we call a floating brush deck. So it's got good pressure down at all times, and it'll float and follow the contour of the ground. Then we've got our lever here for our squeegee assembly. So as we lift the squeegee lever up, pull it sideways and lower it, that will then drop your squeegee and the suction motor will come on. So when you raise it, the suction motor will continue to operate for 10 seconds. This is so that as you're moving the machine, it won't leave water behind. It'll continue to suck that water up the suction tube. So we've got our ignition key here. As we turn that on, we've got our battery indicator. So we've got green, which is obviously fully charged. Then you've got orange, and then you've got red. Please note, when your orange light comes on, it doesn't mean you're halfway. It means it's like the fuel light in your car. It means to finish what you're doing and then get it back and charge the machine. Then we've got a forward and reverse switch. Please note, if your squeegee is down, the machine won't reverse. So it won't allow you to reverse. This will help give you maximum life in your squeegee so you don't damage the squeegee blades. You'll have to lift up the squeegee in view of reversing the machine. Then you've got your horn button, and now we've got a speed control. So this governs the speed of your machine. So please note, your accelerator will also govern the speed of your machine, but if you're doing large areas, we can have control on your speed controller, therefore you can get a consistent speed. So we can have our foot flat, and then we can control it on the hand control to give you a consistent speed, so that'll give you a consistent cleaning pattern. Then the other thing we'd like to show you is we've got 3 reset circuit breakers here behind the seat. So these need to be checked. If for some reason one brush is not turning or we haven't got drive, please check these reset circuit breakers. You may have to just reset it by pushing them in and the machine will operate again. If that doesn't work, then that's when you'll have to contact Alpha Clean. With the steering of this machine, one thing you will notice is that there is a little switch in underneath the machine, so that when you turn this machine at full lock, the machine will automatically slow down. This is obviously a safety feature, so that if your foot is flat to the ground and you turn sharp, the machine is extremely hard for the machine to roll, so the machine will slow down. So as you can see, the ARA80BM100 rod-on scrubber is a very easy machine to operate and maintain. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact Alpha Clean.
Thank you for your time, and we hope this video has been helpful. Remember that regular maintenance of your machine is recommended to optimize its life cycle.